Hello everyone. In this session, I am going to discuss a concept called dissolution of firm. Friends, during your 10 plus 2 level, you might have learnt about accounting for partnership, where you have been taught how one should go for accounting in case there is an admission of a partner, retirement of a partner, death of a partner, as well as dissolution of firm with the consent of all partners. But friends, let me tell you, the dissolution of firm may happen for different reasons. I mean to say the cases are for different circumstances. Then, under what circumstances the firm will go for dissolution? Let me tell you. Hope the screen is visible. On the screen, I have listed different circumstances on happening of one or more such events or the circumstances. A firm will be dissolved. The first one I have listed is when all the partners make an agreement to dissolve the firm. As we all know that the partnership itself will derived from an agreement between the partners. Even if the firm want to undergo the dissolution, all the partners make an agreement to dissolve the firm. Under these such circumstances too, a firm will be dissolved. And number two I have listed is when all the partners or all except one is declared insolvent. When all the partners of the firm declare insolvent or any one of the partner is declared insolvent, then what is this insolvency position? I'm going to discuss about this in further session. As of now, insolvency is state of position wherein a person is unable to meet all his liabilities in full is called as insolvency position. And the next one is when the business of the firm become illegal. The definition of the firm says that it's a relationship between two or more persons who agree to carry on a legal business, right? So if you read the definition given in the Partnership Act, right, section 4 subsection B of the Partnership Act of 1932, right, it says that an agreement has been made to carry on a legal business. If the business of the firm becomes illegal, then the firm needs to be dissolved. And the fourth one we have is in case of partnership at will, then one partner can issue a notice to rest of the partners to terminate or close the business. Even in this fourth point also, the firm has to be dissolved. And finally, with the intervention of the court, sometimes a court is going to intervene and issues an order for the termination of the firm. So these are the different circumstances wherein a firm needs to be dissolved. As I already told you, during your 10 plus 2 level, you learned about dissolution of firm. But let me tell you, at that level, we have been taught to close the books of the firm according to the point number 1. With the consent of all, I want to say, with an agreement of all the partners, the firm was dissolved. However, in this as well as in the following sessions I'm going to discuss about how one should go for accounting in case there is dissolution of firm due to insolvency of a partner by applying the rules under Garner versus Murray, as well as dissolution of firm due to insolvency of all partners, and how to prepare this cash distribution summary, that is piecemeal distribution summary. So all these 3 points we are going to discuss step by step. So first one I said is, so when only one partner become insolvent, that we are going to discuss, and in the second circumstances we are going to discuss about when all partners becomes insolvent, and the third thing is piecemeal distribution summary. So these 3 things we are going to discuss step by step. Let's start our discussion with the meaning of dissolution of partnership as well as dissolution of firm. Friends, at outset, the terms dissolution of firms and dissolution of partnership, they looks one and the same, but there are differences between these 2 definitions. Then what are those? Let us see. So on the screen I have mentioned the meaning of dissolution of firm. Friends, according to section 39 of Indian Partnership Act 1932, the termination of partnership among all partners is called dissolution of firm. Means when partnership among all the partners is terminated, it is called dissolution of firm. On the dissolution of firm, the assets of the firm are sold and liabilities are paid off, and out of the remaining amount, if any, the accounts of the partners are settled. In simple, dissolution of firm means cessation of the relationship between all the partners of the firm is called as dissolution of firm. Then what is this dissolution of partnership? So dissolution of partnership denotes the termination of relation of a partner with all remaining partners. It means only one partner's relationship is going to end with the other partners. So that is what is the meaning of dissolution of partnership. So let us understand these 2 terms under one by one point. So now I am going to discuss about the difference between dissolution of partnership and dissolution of firm. The first point itself, so you can see the column. The first column is on what basis we are going to make a difference, and the second column indicating dissolution of partnership, what will happen in dissolution of partnership, and the third column dissolution of partnership firm, what's going to happen in dissolution of partnership firm. The meaning. So the first phase is meaning. So just now I discussed the meaning. As I told you, partnership is an agreement between 2 or more persons to carry on a legal business. Any change in the agreement will cause dissolution of partnership. Say for example, there will be only 3 partners. If they want to add one more person to their partnership firm, so they have to make changes in their agreements, the old partners. So hence, there is a change in the constitution of the firm is nothing but the dissolution of partnership. And the next one is, look at the dissolution of firm means. Dissolution of partnership firm denotes the closure of partnership business, where all business activities are going to be discontinued. So this is the first difference. And the second difference is, under what circumstances? So partnership is dissolved when a new partner is admitted, or on retirement of a partner, or on death of a partner, and change in the profit sharing ratio. So under these circumstances, there is a dissolution of partnership. But dissolution of partnership firm is either by an agreement among all the partners, or by the intervention of the court, or during my introduction I have given different circumstances under which a firm has to be dissolved. So these are the circumstances. The third one is, as far as continuation of business is concerned, when partnership is dissolved, the firm may continue the business under the same name. I mean to say, if there is a retirement of a partner, death of a partner, or admission of a partner, the partnership firm need not change their business name. They can continue their business under the same name. But on the dissolution of a firm, the business activities cannot be continued. So this is the third difference between the partnership, dissolution of partnership, and dissolution of firm. And the fourth point is termination. On termination of partnership, partnership firm is not going to be closed. But on termination of partnership firm, the closure of business is compulsory, that is mandatory. So hope I'm clear with the difference between the dissolution of firm and dissolution of partnership. Now, in case if there is a dissolution of firm, then how one should go for settlement of accounts? So we also have a provision for settlement of account. The provisions of section 48 of Indian Partnership Act of 1932 relating to the settlement of accounts at the time of dissolution is being stated. First of all, point number 1, all losses including the deficiency of capital shall be paid off as earned. If there are any losses as well as capital deficiencies, how they should be paid off? So first thing is, first out of the profits. If there are any accumulated profits remaining with the firm, out of that profit, all the losses as well as the capital deficiencies should be paid off. And then you are supposed to touch the capitals. If the accumulated profits get exhausted, then we need to touch the capitals, and if necessary, in the end, the partners will bring the amount in their respective profit sharing ratio. If the accumulated profits as well as capitals are not sufficient enough to pay all the losses, then partners have to bring in the amount in order to settle those losses or capital deficiencies in their respective profit sharing ratio. And the next point is, all the assets of the firm, including the cash brought in by the partner, will be used as and then how to use assets of the firm as well as cash brought in by the partners. The first thing is, in paying all the debts of the firm including the loan given by spouse of the partner. All the debts of the firm should be paid off. And remember, the loan given by the spouse of a partner should also be prioritized while making a payment. And after paying all the debts as well as the loan given by the spouse of a partner, then the remaining amount should be used in returning the capitals of the partners in rate bill. And third, even after payment of the first 2 points, if there any balance remains, it will be distributed by the partners in their profit sharing ratio. Friends, what I have told or what I am going to convey you, I have put it in a simple words. That is, in other words, it can be summarized that the balance available will be used in the following order. Remember, after selling the assets, how the amount should be used. So first remember, for payment of expenses incurred on dissolution, if you are incurring any expenses on the dissolution, so first those expenses should be paid off, and then next priority should be given to the payment of liabilities. And the next is outside creditors or the debts, including that of spouse, shall be paid off. And third priority is, if the partner has provided any loans to the partnership firm, such partner's loan should be paid off. And in the fourth category, they are supposed to return the partner's capital. And after all the above liabilities from 1 to 4 are paid off, and if some amount remains in balance, it will be distributed by the partners in their profit sharing ratio. And I have put the references. I have referred a textbook, so which has been written by M.B. Katko. The book title is Financial Accounting, as well as a study material I have referred from the website. So I have given the link, even you can browse from there. So in the next session, I'm going to discuss how to close the books of the firm by applying the Garner versus Murray case. So thank you for your patience listening.